come in.
We started already?
We're just getting started. So for those of you who are not here today, I'm going to invite you to work with a mask if you would like to. And if you would rather take it off, that's okay. We're more than 6 feet distance apart. So. Okay, so how have you been, Bobby? Huh?
Been fine.
Good. Robbie. Okay. So we're going to sit up to begin by bringing our fingers, backs of our fingers, into the top of the hips at the waist. And then give a little push in and up to lift the shoulders. And then try to bring your elbows back a little bit. So bringing the shoulder blades closer together. So let's try that again, but this time bring the hands to either side of the mat. And the same thing, lift the shoulders. Now roll the shoulders back and let the blades touch. Maybe they touch in the middle. And then see if you can draw that squeeze down to the bottom of the scapula. And then one more time, slowly with the arms, sitting up straight. So slow to rise. Let's pay attention to how closely aligned do we really get the shoulder and the elbow and the wrist. So maneuver with it a little bit. And notice you might even be feeling a little bit of discomfort in the low back here. So what will definitely help is to pull the belly in, use the lower abdominal strength. And open the arms. Let the shoulders slide down and come together. Good. And what we're doing is we strengthen these spinal and shoulder muscles and bones here. We're also working the pecs. So that's going to come in tonight too with our peak pose. So let's just do a little bit of a peak pec focus here. So sitting up straight again, notice how easy it is just to slump down. Up, spread the shoulders. And we're going to imagine we're holding a beach ball. Bend the elbows as you come down a little bit. And then open and let it blow away. And again, gather it in using your abdominals. And let it go. One more time. And let it go. And now, I think we'll do this other one, standing. So one more thing just to make sure our shoulders in alignment, our shoulders and heads are in alignment with each other, which many of us are not. I'm not. So take your middle finger, put it right behind the earlobe. See if you can bring the thumb to the tip of your shoulders. And notice if you've got a little more wiggle room on your side. That right there will tell you if you haven't figured out yet. That, whoa, this is further away the shoulder than this is. Okay, open the shoulders out to the sides, keeping the thumbs on for the time being. Lift the elbows up. They always want to sink down. Lift up and feel that in the muscles around the shoulder blades. And then open the forearms out. And just take a couple breaths here, noticing how interesting it is that these slow micro movements can put us back in touch with so much of which we haven't been aware in our body. Grab that beach ball again and now hug it under, chin to chest. So either bring your hands to a block or bring one of them to the mat, close to your legs. Just fall over this beach ball. Drape yourself over it. So maybe you need to move forward a little bit to cover more of it. So give yourself a nice push up from the hips. And let the buttocks open up. And curl the thoracic spine. Let the head and neck rest gently. And the exact opposite action. Inhale up. This time arms are a little wider and we're taking a little back bend. So what's involved here is we're taking the same part of ourselves, the thoracic spine and front, and just stretching them open a little. So the goal would be to get the heart to come up higher. So we're here. So it's certainly not that we're going like this. We don't want to lose our balance. We understand which vertebrae we're working with. It's a little wider than shoulders. Ground yourself into your hip bones. Pull up in the belly. And now lift that chest out and let the gaze go to the ceiling. Protecting your neck always. Take another breath in. And exhale, bend the elbows and bring them a little further back. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Bring your hands as close together behind you as you can. Maybe they touch, maybe they rest side by side, maybe they interlace. And with feet still tucked under, we're just going to lift a little bit so we can get our torsos on an angle. And we're going to work with lengthening the spine to get a little closer toward the legs, but we're not trying to pour ourselves down in the hole. Squeeze the scapula together for a moment and release. And inhale, stretch forward a little bit. And lift up. So this is what the practice of yoga is all about. Continuing the same poses, the same combinations, changing the combinations, but essentially practicing and practicing, coming back to those muscles and those bones, all knowing that we're all going to disintegrate sooner or later. So why do we do this? So our theme today is going to be about Shiva, who, if you've seen the pictures of him, he is the Hindu deity. He's always dancing in a big wheel shape. And he stands for the ever-changing, but always eternal life. So Brahma is the deity. He represents creation, nothing more. Vishnu recreates, the world is kind of tilting. I'm going to reincarnate and come back and fight off evil and get us a little more stability here. And Shiva keeps dancing, and at a certain point, and he just stops. It's time for the world as we know it to go, and then it'll be reborn again. So it's a little comforting and a little sad to think about those types of things. But what I pull out of it, what I really enjoy, is how germane that is to everything we do in our bodies in yoga. Every single thing we feel a different way, or we haven't practiced for a long time and we come back and we forget a pose. And then we notice our attitude about that pose. Everything we're doing here is a practice mentally, physically, in the heart space, in friendship. So that was Shiva's gift to humankind. He was considered the first yogi, Adi yogi. And he spent many, many, many years teaching his 7 wise men to go out in the world and learn this type of yoga. And then his wife's feelings were hurt that she didn't learn it too, so he sat her on her lap. He gave her the Cliff Notes version. Okay, so just sitting here talking and feeling that nice sense of the way the parts move here. Now, does anybody here have any shoulder issues that are particularly? All right, so we're going to move our hands forward. Come onto our knees. Push the knees back so the arms are straight. Lower the elbows and sphinx. Keep the arms parallel. And then push the hips up as far as they'll go. And then the thighs come onto the mat. And see if your elbow is under the shoulder or back of it. Here we have it same alignment. Good. And stretch the arms out forward. You can keep the hands flat down, or you can grip the surface and lift. And then try to lower just the heart and the face a little bit. This is a real shoulder strengthener. And release. Let's walk it out to the right side. And don't exaggerate, you don't need to go far. So lift the head, lift the shoulders and the arms. Now you'll feel a little bit of stretch on the right side too. And again, trying to let the heart come down a little bit, almost so that arms raise up to your ear level and your heart's lower down, but not on the mat. Release that, and we'll walk it to the left. And it's a lot harder on fingertips than flat, so go ahead and do flat if that works better. Lift up, lowering the heart, the stretch in the arc of the right side of the body. Feel the right arm. And come back to center. Hands are next to the low ribs. Elbows pulling close. Let's take a slow cobra. Let's inhale. And now notice if there's more room to pull your elbows in a little. And inhale, squeeze the arms. Exhale, 2, 3, down. Inhale, a short lift. Exhale. Inhale, squeeze the arms in more, bracing the side body. And lift. And down. This time, lift the chest, hug the elbows in, push, push, push. Come onto your knees and sink back to a child's pose. Take your hands and bring the palms together. And let your head hang as low as possible. You could put anything underneath that you have, but just to really let. You could even put your palms underneath your head so the head feels really resting as well. Again, think of those shoulders and then the scapula like wings inside the shoulder blades. And then if you think of the back of the pelvis like wings, there's a real synchronicity there between the chest and the elbows. And then hip socket so comparable to shoulder socket. Okay, hands are pushing together now. Keep the elbows and forearms down. Lift onto the knees. Bring your chest forward. See if you can get your mouth right over your thumb. Bring the hands forward. Walk them out a little bit. And then come on to the knees. So you're not in right angle position. You are very much in a sort of wide lunge position. From here, holding that girdle of shoulder muscle and bone together. Lift the right leg, doesn't have to go high, and push the right hand into the mat. And just feel the incredible strength that you have there from those bones. Lower down. Relax. Try the other side. Grounding each finger. Strong arm. Lift the knee and stretch. And you almost want to feel like you could pick up the other hand and not lose your balance. And come down. And tuck the toes. Bring the hands back. Stand up, walk the feet toward the hands as far back as they came. Bend both knees. Hold opposite elbows or opposite wrists behind your back. And breathe here. Now let your shoulders be like a nice cover, an awning, so that if it's raining on your toes, they won't get wet. And then slowly keep the abdominals engaged, the bandhas, the lower muscles internally. Keeping your hands this way for as long as possible. We're going to come up first head and chest. Keep your legs nice, energized. Opening the chest. Opening now the shoulders, thighs, and let it go. Come to stop at the top of the mat. Go around if you need to. I always reach a point in my yoga practice where I've shifted, like I'm just different than I was before I started. And interesting to think about it, just happened to me and I just became aware of it. Sometimes I don't know when it happened. But no, like I feel a little different now. Okay. Inhale your arms up. Exhale down. Second one we're going to do, let's fine tune a little bit about where we are each really comfortable holding shoulder and arm and hand. So the first thing to do is pull the belly in and feel grounded up. Both sides of the feet with that little arch. So you're nice and straight. So inhale up. How hard does your head need to lift for you to be comfortable? Or maybe you can lift it more. Do you want your arms, is this comfortable to you? Or do you really need to bend a little more this way? So use what works for you. And the third one, we're going to try it one more time, and I just want you to flow into what yours is. Inhale up. Now open your arms, cactus arms, broadening the chest, upper arms on the same level. And look at, if possible, look at the ceiling right above you. Hands on the thighs. Straighten back up, roll the shoulders back. And inhale up. Exhale, hands together. Let's waterfall down into a Uttanasana, forward fold. And always keep your knees bent whenever you want here. It's a good idea at the beginning as we're warming up. Open the arms. And get ready to come down. Use your strength in your belly, not just your knee. Use your balance. Slow. Hands come down. Left foot scoots forward a bit. Right side. Good. Back into our Anjane. One time. Open up. Should be developing more capacity for breath. Left foot comes out off the mat. Right hand can start on the leg. And open up. So feel the lift in the side waist. Exhale, left hand down, left leg back, lift it, bend it. Might need to walk your hands in a little bit. Maybe this side of balance isn't going to work for you. But want to get to this. Holding the knee, which I'm not doing on my left side today. Keep trying. So I know. Bring your heels back to your hips, back to heels. Slide forward. Take the right hand parallel at the top of the mat. Lift your left knee. Going for quad stretch. So the quadriceps, there's 4 muscles in the top of the thigh. These muscles feel really important for me to stretch. Really, unless you're a bike rider, really hard to get. And relax. Now, if that didn't work for anybody, that was painful. Little trick. You always come onto your side and do it this way. It's a little easier, but basically you're using the same muscles. Left arm forward. Bend the toes. So wherever you grab, I like to hold on to the top of the toes, but you can have your hand in the sole of the foot on the ankle. And breathe. Feel the strength in your torso, lifting you back up, even as the foot tries to push you back down. So 2 oppositional actions. Good. Forehead down on the mat. Let's come back to our arms squeezing our shoulders. Lift the head off the mat. Squeeze, lift the chest and belly. Push back onto the knees. Lift the feet. Stretch the arms out. And get a nice long stretch from your low back all the way through the shoulders. Once again, trying to bring your heart down between your shoulders. Lift up. Curl toes, move hands back. Warrior two. Inhaling and exhale. So sometimes the feeling that we're going around in these circles, nothing ever really changes. But all these cycles do not repeat in exactly the same way. So lift the right leg, keep it bent. And then flex the foot and bring it up between your thumbs. Walk it further. Lower the left heel down on the mat. And bring both hands inside the left foot. The left knee is over the left ankle. And if you can get your back sole on the foot, that's not working for you. Come on up. You want to try to get yourself anchored as much as possible in the left leg. So it might help to bring the hand down. Okay. So right here, we're in a different variation of bowing warrior. What I want you to do is come up onto fingertips. Push into the feet, lift the fingertips, keep pushing. Stretch the arms out in front of you. Come all the way up, good. The knee stays bent, excellent. Arms together, palms facing. Take your slight back bend here. Elbows behind the back. And bow. Maybe your shoulder doesn't even get close to your knee. So what? Push the feet apart from each other. Lift the lower spine up and forehead. And let the head bow as it may. Lift up. Turn to a straddle. Lift the arms up. Interlace. Push them up. And bend the elbows as you lower to the right. Up. And left. And up. Right hand on your right side, lift the left arm, ear to shoulder, hand slides down, arm can rest above the ear. Try not to let your left hip fall back. And up to the other side. Inhale, left arms on left thigh. Stay with that breath. Inhale. And exhale. Coming back up to center. Right toes forward, come to a downward facing dog. Push the hips back. Lift the knee to the chest and flex the toes. Then just Feel yourself rocking your hips back and forth a little bit, and then shoot that foot out there. Turn the right foot so the sole is on the mat. You can also bring your legs closer together if that works for you. So both of them are on the mat. Both hands are inside the left foot. Left toes are pointing forward. Okay. So to get up from this pose, we really need to have a lot of abdominal balance. It's not going to work any other way. So pull the belly in. Lift the arms. Push forward. Open up. Exhale. Pull the elbow. And down. Feel as though you're pushing the feet apart from each other. And breathe. Nothing matters as much as the breath. Inhale up. Turn the feet so they're parallel. Bring the hands to the hips. Sit down. This is horse pose. Feels a little awkward because the toes are forward, not out to the sides. So see if you can sink a little in. And come back up. And we'll get ready for our prep pose. Let's come to down dog for a moment. And then lower into child's pose. Rest. And sit back for a moment. Lift your heads up and sit back for a moment. And so I want you to take whichever version of Gomukhasana works for you. This, because I'm not interested in the legs today. This is the leg version. And maybe you do it this way. Maybe you put a block under it. Maybe you're just like this. However you want to do it. Because knee to knee is hard. So wherever you can sit that you feel grounded in your low body and lifting up is great here. Lift the right arm up. Pat the hand down on the spine. Feel some of those knobby vertebrae. And keep in mind too, when we're talking about the spine, if there's ever any damage in the vertebrae, in the discs, it's not necessarily the back of the spine, it's the front of the spine, which we don't get to see. So anywhere your hand goes here, it can go to your neck. If you can turn your fingers downward a little bit. And then your shoulder, well, yours looks pretty good, but you notice how mine's out at that awkward angle. We want to try to help the shoulder get straight. Maybe the fingers creep a little more down the back. Now that's the first part of Gomukhasana. The second part is to swing our left arm around and try to push the fingers up somewhat close to the other ones. If you're that practice that yours touch, clip them together. If not, it's okay. Some people like to do this holding a strap, but just getting that feeling in the shoulders. Always stopping if there's pain in the shoulder. So this was a big exercise, this whole one. Let's go to the second one. So inner arm is touching the inside of the head there, above the ear. Fingers come down wherever they will. And then what you want to just work on is getting that lift in the elbow. Can you feel that in your thoracic spine? That's what's really, really helping you. Your latissimus dorsi muscle and everything. And then see, maybe this hand gets a little closer. Maybe your fingers can just touch. Stay upright, good posture, and let it go. Okay, so we're going to try the next part in 2 parts on a wall. You don't need anything but your mat if you like to step on it. Just bring it lengthwise to any wall. Okay, so put your hands on the walls and take a few steps back so you're leaning in a little bit. Make sure the elbow and the wrist are on the same level. Lift the right foot behind you, bending the knee. Now, without opening the hip up, just take the arm back to the side of the ankle and see if you can grab the instep with your right palm. So wherever you need to help is okay. Now, with the hands still on the wall, push the elbow in, but lift the chest up and have the head gaze up. And see if you can pull the foot, the leg away from you, but the foot higher up. Lots going on there. Lots of things might be screaming. Release. Other side. See that connection between shoulder and hip. So leaning in a little bit. Holding the other leg. So right now you want the left knee pointing down. You begin to lean forward as the right elbow bends and the left leg comes up. Now don't worry about the leg too much right now. I want you to feel that your alignment is good. That you're coming, maybe you even push the elbow onto the wall. Now lift the hip. Lift the head, try to open the leg, point the foot in toward you, and come back. It's a hard pose, isn't it? But this is not Raja, this is the Shiva's dance in the wheel. So we're happy when he's always dancing. Now this is a teeny tiny part of the whole incredible lore and the stories they have. But Shiva does this fabulous dance. It's studied in internet dance. And so I'm just going to show you a little bit of it because it's fun. So it's just playing with what exactly we've been doing. Okay, so lift the right leg. This will be our balance today. Lift the right leg. Lift the right arm. Lift the left leg, not the left arm. Okay. And bend the left leg. So he's bent and straight and over. Oh, and this hand is down. Yeah. That's like one step of the dance. Let's try it on the other side. So left leg. Left hand here, and then bending the right. And all these dances the classical dances are all about these kinds of pose, symbolizing all these pretzel things that their deities do. Okay, so we're going to try not to Raj one more time, just on our mats, just nice and simply. And it should look just this simple. You just don't have to go any further than you want. So you can go a little forward, raise back into, so just flow in your body what feels good with it. Remember to keep your gaze steady. Big breath of air. Exhale and go forward fold. Come down to our seats. Take a nice big split of the legs. See if you can actually get the backs of the legs on the mat. That's kind of hard. And sometimes the knees want to come off. Calf on. And sit up tall. And this is not an easy position, getting your body in an L, especially with the legs open. But staying mindful of this torso alignment. And if you're not sure you're really there, you can just put your hand a little behind you and make sure your back is straight. We're just going to bring our hands in and walk them forward one teeny tiny step at a time. Allow the eyes to close. And maybe think of where you are in some of your cycles. Just some of them seem like a hamster on a treadmill. Other things seem to flow effortlessly. When you're as far as you think you'll go, bring your hands out to your feet or to your legs. Work with your breath. Let your face lower with each breath that wants to. Come up. Your feet in opposite corners of your mat. Let your knees come together, constructive rest. So knocking them against each other. And then do your windshield wipers to the right. Both knees come down to the right. Extend the right arm up. And then take the left foot and place it, if you like, on the right thigh. So do we go around and around? Maybe our movements are actually more spiraling than we realize. Suggesting climbing up to something higher. Doesn't always feel that way. Come back onto the right foot. Hold the left leg, the hands interlaced behind the thigh. Right knee points straight up. Left flex foot points straight up. And then with the left hand inside the thigh, just guide it as far over to the left as it wants to go. Keep your right hand on the hip crease of the right thigh, so you keep that down. So remember, you can come onto your left elbow to help steady you. And then maybe your foot doesn't want to go anymore. Or maybe it does. Inhale up. Cross that thigh over the right one. Lift the feet off the mat. Bring your hands to the opposite ankles. Hug thighs and the feet into your body. You normally mostly feel this in the left hip. Let your elbows rest and let your shoulders be absolutely still. They're not doing any work here. Let your internal muscles relax. And release. Lift the legs up. The corners of the feet on opposite of the mat and windshield wiper over to the left. The left arm goes up to open up that side of the body. And it's optional for right foot to come and rest on the knee, on the thigh. Some people enjoy using this pose as an opportunity to push the right thigh open a little bit to get even more of a hip stretch, but that's not really what we're doing today. And back to center, open the legs. And then this time we cross right over left. Hands go to the outsides of the ankles. So move around a little bit on your back so that you're not leaning to one side. Right leg is going to come out of that comfortable position. Hold onto the left foot. Hold tight onto the left foot. Let the right leg come down sideways on its own. Keep squeezing the left foot. And open. Come back up, cross your ankles. And rock side to side. Taking a nice big boxy movement from hip to hip, to elbow. And then go the other way, still keeping the knees apart here. And then bring the knees together. So legs are into the chest, feet are pointing downward or outward. So bring your chin to your chest. Just lift the top vertebrae off the spine till your arms are straight on your legs. And then slowly roll back down and get comfortable. One more. Lift the head. And exhale down. Good. Lower the feet to the mat. We're going to take a happy baby before we go into Shavasana and meditation. So bring your legs out in right angles or even wider, holding the outside of each foot, and rock right to left. Go ahead and let your body move the way it wants to, legs and arms. And you could circle the feet around each other. You could bring both legs to one side. Both wide up, any way you like to do it. And then bring the knees back to the chest. So here, instead of interlacing your hands on the tops of your forelegs, just put a hand underneath each knee, or it might be easier for you to do it under each thigh. Or you could just rock forward and back, and on the third time, come up to a seated pose. Just going to do a few quiet moments, meditations that we've been working on. So close your eyes, grab a sweater if you need it, socks, make sure you're comfortable. And if that's not a comfortable position for your legs, any way you're comfortable sitting, or including a chair, or on a wall. So think of your hands first, whether you're comfortable with them resting palms upward or down tonight. Perhaps you would like the mudra of forefinger. Rock back a little on the perineum so you can gauge where your spine really starts. It rises up. Feel for any tension or movement in your body. Notice what it might be. Notice your shoulders. Pulled back. Can the shoulder blades have that sliding back down feeling? You just follow the breath now. Emotions are they go. Sometimes we hate them, or they're too prolonged, or we revel in them. That's all outside of us. Our practice is designed to help us come to the inside of us. What for you changes? What is really important to stay the same? Where are you resistant to a different kind of growth? What ways can you share them with people around you? Very brief moment. Feeling completely at peace is indwelling. Sometimes it takes practice to access it. It's always there. From here, make your way down into Shavasana. Spread your arms out a little bit. Your legs to roll open if they're not. Trace the river of life that flows through you, the luxuriatingly rising energies, gradually touching each of the centers along the spine. Savor every shimmer, color along the way. Enter each area tenderly, loving as you go. Finally, gently dissolving in the crown of the head. And above, in the space above the head, the great dawn. cycle, own seasons. Perhaps giving yourself permission to take more power with them. You get to be the boss over you. Air deeply into the lungs. Exhale with open mouth. Anything that just feels like it's hampering you and keeping you stuck. Feet and your toes. To lay on your right side if that's accessible. Bend the knees. And lifting slowly into a seated pose. To Anjali Mudra. Feeling the heartbeat on the base of our thumbs. And knowing that if we did nothing else tonight, we got a little closer in there.